This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome into Old School right here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. I am Rico. I am not DP. I am not Jay Foreman. And I am not joined by DP or Jay Foreman. I am joined by our very own Karter. Karter, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, it's I don't know, been an okay day. Got a little bit of a slight cough that I've been dealing with, but I'm going to fight through it here for this next hour and a half or so here.
Well, you better, because please don't leave me alone.
All right.
I think I can handle it, but I would rather not. I would rather have a co-host to bounce ideas off of. But Old School, we are as old school as you can get, right? I mean, this is what you tune in for.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I think most people probably call us new school, but I don't know. We'll pretend we're old school for today. I
consider myself a Husker Hall of Famer just for this instance.
Yeah, I'm also an award-winning author. So
yeah, see, perfect. Old School brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. The Mercado, I can't do as good of a job of explaining it as Jay Foreman does. I do know they have wonderful cuts of meat, fantastic desserts, pasta. They have just about everything that you want out there at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. I need to get out there. They keep talking about the tomahawk steak, and I've always wanted to try one. I need to get out there and get one for myself because they look delicious.
Yeah, DP and Jay were grilling me a little bit yesterday when I was bored up for them about getting down there, and I'm a big steak guy, so I would love to go down there and try some. So.
I'm upset with myself that I still haven't gone. I've been here for so long, and the multiple shows have been sponsored by the Mercado, and I just have not found my way down there yet. And I really need to. I really need to get myself some steak and throw it on the grill. I mean, I got a smoker. I got to make use of it somehow. So
yeah, there's nothing better than a smoked steak.
No, it'll be fantastic. Sear it up a little bit, smoke it a little bit. It'll be fantastic. But I digress. First things first, I want to mention Nebraska volleyball plays here in 2 hours. I believe it's 6 o'clock. Might be 7. I'm not sure exactly. It either 6 or 7. It's fine. Go to the Big Ten Network. You'll find it. This game against Michigan State up in East Lansing, Nebraska volleyball will be playing the Spartans for the second time this season. They swept them the first time back here at the Bob Devaney Sports Complex for John Cook's record-breaking win or record-setting win. So they'll be facing them again. They swept them that time. See if they can sweep them again. They are one of 2 teams in the Big Ten that are currently undefeated in conference, them and Purdue. Purdue, however, did get pushed to 5 sets by Iowa. And if you know anything about Big Ten volleyball, you know that Iowa is not the greatest volleyball school. They have their moments. I mean, I think they took a set from Nebraska last year for the first time ever. Last year, they took 1 set from Nebraska, and that was the first time they'd ever done that. So they're not the greatest volleyball school, but they pushed Purdue, the only other undefeated team in the conference, to 5 sets. So, you know, Purdue maybe might not be undefeated by the end of the weekend, but Nebraska looking to keep their undefeated ways going. They've been on the road for, once this road trip finishes, they're in East Lansing today. Michigan, they play the Wolverines on Saturday, and in Ann Arbor. Words are hard. They will have been on the road for 8 of the last 10 days. So that's a thing. Not great. But as long as they're getting their schoolwork done and they're putting in work on the court, that's really all you can ask for. I hope that they're enjoying themselves in whatever hotels and planes and buses they find themselves on. But yeah, 8 of the last 10 days, Nebraska volleyball will have been on the road. Spartans today on Big Ten Network and streaming on the foxsports.com, I believe. And then Saturday, unfortunately, will be on Big Ten Plus if you have the subscription. If not, listen in to John Baylor and Lauren Cookwest on the Huskers Radio Network. And actually, I mean, do that anyway because they're fantastic at what they do. But yeah, Nebraska volleyball. 2 more games this weekend, then they come home next weekend. Michigan State tonight, Michigan on Saturday.
Little confirmation, no, the game is 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Got it. Perfect. I will be able to go home and watch it because I really want to watch it. And you can, tune into my Twitter. Maybe I'll tweet some stuff out. I mean, since I'm watching the game, I might actually be able to. I wasn't able to last time because I was listening on my phone, and I'd have to go back and forth. It was just a mess, so I didn't get to do that. But
no better Nebraska beat reporter than Rico.
No, I'm really good at what I do. I've been learning from the other volleyball beat reporters, most notably Lincoln Arneal. I should have had him on. Why didn't I have him on this week? We'll have him on next week. We're gonna have him on the happy hour next week. But yeah, so I'll do my best to tweet out some updates on Nebraska volleyball, but you guys should watch it anyway. Big Ten Network today, 7 p.m. But Karter, I haven't gotten to pick your brain about the Huskers' first conference win this year against Indiana, a nice 2-touchdown victory. What did you take away from that game? What was your what did you glean from the offense and the defense and the special teams and the first win of the interim era of Mickey Joseph?
I mean, I think the obvious one is that the defense finally seemed to show up. I mean, the second half they didn't allow a touchdown, which was great to see. They also did a pretty good job of stopping Indiana on the ground, although they aren't really known for having a prominent rushing attack. They held them under 3 yards an attempt. So I mean, that's a great sign from the defense. And the offense, of course. They looked pretty solid as usual. I mean, the one kind of head scratcher that happened during the game, of course, was Casey Thompson took a sack that, Nebraska's coach staff didn't love, and he came out of the game, and it resulted in a kind of a disastrous play with Chubba Purdy in there. When something like that happens, obviously in hindsight, it's easy to kind of point the finger and say, why on earth would you take Casey Thompson out of there, and look what it caused. But when looking back on it, though, at the same time, sometimes the guy does need kind of just a quick little blow to kind of see what's going on. He was also getting his wrist taped up. I don't know if there's actually any truth to that. I mean, there was a media timeout and quite a bit of time in between that. So I don't know if that was really the reason, or if they kind of just played that off. So they didn't have to really admit that he came out for just, bad play, but
act like you're getting your wrist taped up.
Yeah. I don't know. But, I don't know. It was good to see Nebraska win. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all you wanted to see. And, in the pregame show last week, I was kind of harsh. I think, in the pregame, I had said that because Harrison, and Alexis did the little, mini 1 hour before the big one. And, Harrison had asked me what I thought Nebraska needed to do to win. And I kind of went on a rant saying, I'm kind of tired of always talking about what Nebraska needs to do to win. And then we say the same stuff every single week and they just don't do it. But, this time they did to a point. I mean, the defense kind of still wasn't, awesome. I mean, they still gave up 21 points in the first half to Indiana, but they got more to that bend no break mentality, I think, and that's what they're going to need to do going forward. And I think that sets them up well going forward. And it was great to see Mickey get the first win. I mean, that's awesome.
It was fantastic. I will counterpoint to your defensive argument about the first half. The defense technically only gave up 14 points in the first half. Yeah. The offense gave up the other 7, unfortunately, on that sack. However, Pro Football Focus, if you looked at it after the day after the game or 2 days after, whenever they released their gradings or whatever, nobody on the offensive line for Nebraska was credited or discredited, whatever you want to say, with giving up a sack during that game because, unfortunately, I guess this could also be bad. All 3 of the sacks came on rushers who were not touched by anybody. So you can't really credit the offensive line with giving up a sack when nobody even attempts to block whoever gets the sack. But so the defense I thought was much improved against Indiana with the way that they were not only tackling first off, which was fantastic. They were gang tackling. If one person missed a tackle, there was about 2 other people there right away, minus the big run where their running back broke 2 people's ankles, but we're going to gloss past that. For the most part, the gang tackling was really good. I thought that they flew to the ball at an extremely high rate, and somebody on the text line actually brought this to my attention yesterday, I believe. The defensive backs have not been getting enough credit this week, aside from Malcolm Hartzog, who true freshman starting at corner did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
All of the defensive backs, the safeties, the Quentin Newsom on the other side did a fantastic job of forcing the ball out of many receivers' hands, tipping balls, swatting them down. There was the one interception by Luke Reimer, but if you just look at the defensive backfield, they did a fantastic job minimalizing the amount of yardage and catches that Indiana was able to get. And, we had somebody kind of get on us yesterday about how they were without their number 1 and number 2 receiver. I mean, again, Nebraska was starting a true freshman at corner. So that's that kind of, you can take the number 3 receiver for Indiana. If he's been there for a year or two, he's already got a leg up on a true freshman. It doesn't matter if he's a number 3 receiver. So I don't want to look too deep into that. I think the defense did an amazing job, and it's crazy how much could change with the defense in such a short amount of time. Just kind of as Bill Bush said, going back to the basics and making sure you're lined up first things first, not trying to get too fancy with your defensive schemes or your defensive play calling. Get the play in, get lined up, and then, football is, and I know people might, get on me about this, and Jay Foreman, when he comes in later, I believe he'll be in at 5:00. Jay Foreman will be here for his old school appearance, but for the most part, football is pretty simple when you just kind of take it back to their bare bones, especially on the defensive side. See ball, hit ball. You see somebody with the ball, stop that person from going forward. And it seemed like they, did a much better job of that against Indiana than they did in the first 4 games of the season, especially against Oklahoma.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, kind of going back to your defensive backs point, I kind of mentioned this earlier in the season. I think that the defensive backs got a little bit of a bad rep kind of due to some of the other position groups on the defense. I mean, when they were getting gashed in the run game, like every single play and every single game, I feel like that kind of put a lot of pressure on the defensive backs to kind of come up and play a little closer to the line of scrimmage than they probably would have had to, and maybe had to keep their eyes up, near the line of scrimmage rather than on their man and longer than they should have had to, because frankly, the D line and the linebackers weren't getting it done in that initial, box. So the defensive backs had way too much run responsibility. And of course, when you're worried about the run the entire time as defensive back, you're not going to be as heads up when it comes to the passing game. So you're right, they did play, better overall, but it was good to see them, have the opportunity to do that with the D line and linebackers playing better as well. So and the bye week too, that couldn't have come at a better time. The turnaround of the defense was magnificent, and all credit due to Mickey and Bill Bush, because I didn't really think it was possible. Again, another thing that I kind of said on the post game or the pregame, excuse me, when I was, again, probably looking back, maybe a little harsh, but I just didn't think those problems could be really fixed in a week. The fundamental issues that were going on with the defense early in the year with missing tackles, not filling gaps correctly, not shedding blocks the right way. I just didn't feel like it would be fixed that fast, but obviously a good coach, and like you said, just getting back to basics with alignment, not trying to be too fancy with it. I think it helped a lot, and I'm glad it did. I never wanted them to fail. I was just pleasantly surprised that it didn't.
Yeah, staying on the defensive side of the ball, you mentioned the defensive line. I noticed, the first play that Indiana ran, the defensive line got more push than I'd seen them get all season. I don't know what attributed to that, because I don't think in 2 weeks you can get that much stronger.
Yeah.
But something lit a fire under them, and the entire defensive line got a lot more push and a lot and was disrupting the pocket, maybe not getting back there and getting sacks, but forcing Connor Bazelak to, step off of his spot and have to, shuffle his feet and redirect his eyes, because the defensive line was getting such an enormous push. And that's exactly what we kind of, after everybody transferred out or left, and you were left with Ty Robinson being the most experienced defensive lineman that you had, it was a huge area of concern. And then the reloading with a Devin Drew, with a Stephon Wynn, with an O'Shawn Mathis, even though I'm not sure what you consider him, if he's a defensive end, an edge rusher, an outside linebacker, whatever you want to consider him, with the reloading of the defensive line, it was supposed to become somewhat of a strength. And through the first 4 games of the season, it was one of the bigger weaknesses for Nebraska. And I think that whatever Bill Bush and Mickey Joseph and the rest of the coaching staff did, re-energized the defense, not only the entire defense, but the defensive line themselves, to kind of rediscover that aggressiveness that we all believed that they were coming into the season with.
Yeah, I mean that was a big disappointment early in the season because, like you said, I mean there was a bunch of transfers that came in, and it was very exciting. You thought they were going to be a strong group, especially the edge guys with Garrett Nelson and O'Shawn Mathis and Caleb Tanner. I mean, again, I don't know if you really consider them true D linemen because they're more just edge guys, but still they're still kind of part of that group, and they just frankly weren't performing early on, and it's great to see them back to getting after it. And I mean, if anything, this just proves how much coaching really matters in college football. I mean, a lot of it has to do with just like emotion. Like obviously, guys got to be fired up to play, especially on the lines in the trenches. You got to have, some type of fire under you. And, whether you kind of want to address it or not, obviously you hate to keep going back to him because he's gone now. But like Scott Frost, I don't think I ever saw a single ounce of emotion, from him on the sidelines during games.
It was very few and far between.
Yeah. And, you see Mickey, he gets fired up, just about every play. And of course, Bill Bush obviously, has a big part in it as well. And it starts from the top down. And when your coaches are fired up, your leaders get fired up, and then your leaders fire up everybody else. And I don't know, it's just great to see kind of everything working out a little bit here for Nebraska in a game where they won a Big Ten game, and now they find themselves tied for first place in the Big Ten West.
Seeing the emotion that was expressed by the coaching staff and the players on the sideline was something that had been lacking for quite some time. And I mentioned it in the pregame show. That one of the things that I wanted to see, one of the things that I really wanted to see from this team during that Indiana game, it wasn't, I mean, obviously like the effort and playing better and whatever else on the football field. But the one thing that I wanted to see was going into the fourth quarter, that third quarter to fourth quarter light show. I wanted them to be loose enough or up by enough to let loose, be comfortable, and have fun. Dance on the sideline like they did the very first time they did the light show against Michigan. And you have that amazing gif of Nick Henrich, playing the air guitar, standing on the bench. I wanted the football team to cut loose and to just enjoy the moment that they were having, because you've been in so many close games and you've lost every single one of them, that being able to show emotion and have fun just seemed like an impossibility. It seemed like if you showed any type of emotion that you were criticized because, you weren't winning enough games to have fun, or, you were down by 3 points or a touchdown. Why are you smiling? You should be upset that you're not, currently winning the game. So just to allow these college students, some of them kids, some of them, adults to some people. I consider all of them college kids. I don't care. They're all kids. They're all, in college. They're all kids to me. Just to see them have fun and experience the moment and be able to be kids is something that I thought was very important. And I think is something that will carry, they will carry with them, especially after the win for the rest of the season.
No, yeah, I thought one of my favorite moments too was, I think it was the end of the first quarter when Garrett Nelson got that big sack, and he started jumping around and flinging his arms around, and the crowd was going wild. And I mean, that's just something that I didn't feel like we were really getting the last few weeks. It was just a lot of, I mean, the crowd is always going to be there and they're always going to be into it, but when the players themselves are doing more to kind of fire them up, it just makes the whole atmosphere even better and creates just that memorial, that crazy memorial feeling where it's just like, it kind of gives you the feeling where it's not waiting for Nebraska to lose. It's kind of waiting for Nebraska to win at that point. Cause I feel like that was something that was a big problem with the past couple of years as well, is, you're always kind of sitting in the stadium and, maybe Nebraska's playing kind of well, but they still seem kind of tight, and the fans are still kind of sitting on their hands because everybody was just waiting for the moment that when they're going to make the play that's going to lose them the game.
Yeah, all the coaches kind of mentioned it during this week, that on the sideline against Indiana, that they didn't believe that the players had that feeling. Although Mark Whipple says that he still doesn't know if his players believe that they can go out there and do something crazy like win the West. But during that game, they felt like on the sideline that there wasn't that feeling of, okay, we're doing so well. When does the mess up happen? When do we pee down our legs and allow Indiana to run away with this game, or to take the lead really late in the game, and then we're left just holding back tears because we lost another close game. They said it didn't feel like that, and that, in my opinion, is a massive step forward for this football team.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all part of a culture change. I mean, I thought, there was certain times, last year where I kind of thought maybe there was some moments where, maybe Nebraska's really going to turn around here. And of course, I'm not from Nebraska originally, so I don't really have the years of heartbreak of all of it happening. But I kind of started to understand it last year, when the 3-9 season happened and lose every game by single digits. And, it was just, it's a sucky feeling, but it was a needed change with the coaching staff, and hopefully, going forward, that kind of new feeling continues of, what are we going to do to win the game? When's the play going to happen that we really put it away, not waiting for the moment that we're going to mess it up.
Mm-hmm. And now they move on. They flew out earlier today. They left for New Jersey. They'll be playing Rutgers tomorrow night. They'll be the first of 4 games tomorrow night. Starting at 6:00. They have a game following them at 6:30 and then 2 games at 9:30. But none of those games matter. The game at 6 matters to everybody listening here. Nebraska, Rutgers out in New Jersey. And I don't want to look past this Rutgers team just because Nebraska got a win at Indiana. Before the season started, when I was feeling good about this team, regardless of the past and regardless of the coaching staff issues and whatever, when I was feeling good about this team, this is the one game that I kept circling and saying, you have to watch out for this one. I believed Indiana was going to be bad, so I was saying Nebraska is going to be coming off of a win against Indiana. They'll have a divisional game the following week against a tough Purdue team, and you have to go to sleepy Piscataway on a Friday night. I believe that this game was going to be a tough one. I still believe it's going to be a tough game regardless of the record and the fact that Rutgers doesn't really have the most impressive wins or the most impressive offense. I still feel like Greg Schiano is a really good coach, and he'll have his team ready for Nebraska coming into whatever they call their stadium. I don't know what their stadium is called, but the Scarlet Knights Stadium, for a blackout that they're planning with the student section and everybody attending the game. So I don't want to overlook it, although looking at the statistics for their offense, I mean, it's not the greatest. I mean, their starting quarterback has 640 yards on the season. He has 40 more yards passing than Anthony Grant does rushing. Their starting running back has 210 yards rushing, and their best receiver, Aaron Cruikshank, I know everybody knows that name and is going to be terrified if he gets a punt return or a kick return opportunity. I know I'll be. Their leading receiver is him at 172 yards receiving, 20 receptions. So Nebraska's offense is far and away better than Rutgers, but the real question is, can Nebraska's defense replicate what they did? Maybe not in the second half. I keep saying this. It doesn't have to be the second half defense where they shut out Indiana and held them to 78 yards total for the third and fourth quarter. Even the first half defense where they were, getting pressure on the quarterback and doing all these things, they still allowed 2 touchdowns. That would suffice against a paltry Rutgers offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point in the season, I think it's pretty clear that if Nebraska can just give up, I would say on a weekly basis, I think if Nebraska gives up like 24 or less, I feel pretty good about their chances of winning. I mean, the offense, has looked pretty good all season long. I mean, the offense really hasn't been a problem at any point. I mean, they score a lot of points, right? The offense does. I mean, other than the Oklahoma game, they've scored, 4 touchdowns or more in every game so far. So, if the defense holds the other team to less than that, I feel pretty good about their chances of winning. And I don't know. We'll see what happens on Friday night. Coming into the season, kind of like you mentioned, I thought Nebraska's probably 4-1 heading into this game, and riding high and probably feeling pretty good. Maybe they played Oklahoma close, but that just frankly hasn't been the case this season. Obviously, things didn't turn out quite as well as we all hoped, but that doesn't mean that it's not too late to kind of continue turning things around, because beating Indiana was definitely a start. It's a Big Ten win. It was a win that some people were not nearly as confident in as they were coming into the season. I know even a lot of people here on the ticket were picking Indiana to win the game. And so it was good to kind of see them prove people wrong for once, in a good way. So it's a good feeling in Nebraska right now, and hopefully that continues on Friday night.
All right. Well, up next, I'm sorry, Karter, but I'm going to have to kick you out. We welcome in Uncle Kevin Meyer of Meyer's Cork and Bottle for Thirsty Thursday here on Old School. I believe Mark's going to be joining me as well, but we'll try some new beer and wine up next on Old School. Get ready for Thirsty Thursday.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln, and has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And, of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. There is no better place to watch any Nebraska game other than the 50-yard line at Memorial Stadium. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken lips. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
The dog days of summer are here. Is your yard in need of a touch-up as we head into the fall season? August, September, and October are the months for aeration, and Penner Sprinkler and Lawn is the place to call to get the job done right. If you're noticing any issues with your sprinkler system through the hot summer months, they're always a call away, and they're already scheduling installs for sprinkler systems for next year and all other lawn care needs. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215.
Nebraska State Veterans Homes are here to serve veterans, their spouses, surviving spouses, and Gold Star parents. Join your fellow veterans and their families at one of our homes in Bellevue, Kearney, Norfolk, or Scotts Bluff. With a sliding scale to determine your financial contribution, an excellent clinical team, and plenty of fun activities, our homes are the perfect retirement choice. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/homes. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Why wait until Friday to start your weekend?
Go ahead, start right now.
You're thirsty now, and 93.7 The Ticket is here to help you stock up.
Just in time for the weekend when I like to hit the clubs.
Time to broaden your horizons and try some new wine and beer. It's Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer from Meyer's Cork and Bottle.
Pew! Whoop. Nice. Fellas,
Kevin,
welcome into Thirsty Thursday here on Old School. Kevin Meyer joining us from Meyer's Cork and Bottle. Uncle Kev, gentleman, how are you?
Fellas, I'm doing good. Where is everybody?
Jay Foreman's doing super secret agent stuff. DP is either on a flight to New Jersey or is already in New Jersey.
Is he going to the game?
Yeah. Let's see who Carter's over there. Nathan, I don't know where Nathan is.
Took a couple days off.
10-11 stuff.
He's doing 10-11 stuff.
Whatever. Nick is being a student, or no, he's getting ready to call a high school game at 7. Let's see, where else is everybody? Bach was here. He probably left. Mark's here. Jake's doing Jake.
It doesn't matter. The cool kids are here.
There we go. And that means that we're only splitting it 3 ways today.
Yeah, that's right. More for us. More for us.
Carter's gonna have to carry the show.
Thanks,
you
Carter.
You hear that, Carter? It's all you.
That, Carter.
I'm drinking too much.
Can't wait till you're 21, Carter.
He's not listening. Whatever.
So
what do we got today?
This is one of the few beers that we make sure that we do on the show every year. And this is from Nebraska Brewing in good old Omaha. And it is called Wick for Brains. And it is a pumpkin ale. And I love the name. I think that was one of my all-time favorite insults as a child, if you called someone bleep for brains. And so it just holds a special place in my heart. So this is a pumpkin beer. And the nice thing about it is that it's not overly pumpkin-y. It's more nuanced with the pumpkin. But who knows? Maybe they changed the recipe. I haven't tried it yet this year, so I'm trying it just as the same time you are.
Rico, I'm really curious because this is it's a different sort of beer than a lot of what we've done before and what you've probably been exposed to before.
I've never had anything that tastes like this.
That's what I thought. So now the look on his face is one of comprehension.
I'm trying to understand what's
a little confusion
going
Definitely
on right
processing
now.
right now. He's deep focus.
I'm trying to figure it out
narrowed.
right now. Yeah. Because I'm getting the pumpkin. There's a decent amount of pumpkin. And as I told you before, not the biggest pumpkin fan. This isn't bad though.
It's more of a pumpkin spice than actual
there's
pumpkin.
Is there cinnamon in this? Because it tastes like
there's probably some
there's
cinnamon, some
in
nutmeg,
this.
some cloves.
Yeah. Isn't that pumpkin spice?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
kind of
for sure.
Yeah. It almost tastes like, kind of an old school holiday beer.
Yeah.
That, you know how Anchor Steam used to always do that cinnamon, clovey, nutmeggy thing going on. It almost tastes like that, only it's kind of a light amber. Tastes like fall in a glass.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good description for it. If you took a holiday beer but removed some of the heaviness that you kind of associate with
Remove
those.
some of the holiday.
Remove some of the holiday. Yeah, right. Like just rewind it a little bit back to October.
Yeah.
Warm it up. Yeah, it's not, quite the deep antifreeze type of a beer that you need.
Right.
It's, a little lighter, still more refreshing.
This does taste, it definitely wouldn't, but this does taste like it would be good warm, but not like the beer version, just like the flavors.
So I actually, before you said that, I started cupping it in my hand to warm it up a little bit because that is going to bring out some of those spiced flavors a little bit as you warm it up. I don't want it like hot.
Yeah.
But
it does taste like, you have a mug and there's a little steam and you get a little stick of cinnamon in there for some reason. And that's what this tastes like.
For some reason. The reason is for cinnamon.
For some reason. There's enough cinnamon.
Flavors, nuance, aromatics.
something putting things in drinks I don't understand.
The
I'm still young.
the and sometimes you can over chill a beer by letting it warm up to more like, I guess it would be more cool or cellar temp versus a full chill. This was on ice in the box on the way here, so sometimes allowing it to warm up will bring out more of the flavors. But I'm kind of one of those guys that my beer can never be too cold,
really,
as long as it doesn't have ice in it. So it doesn't seem to matter what kind. I just like a nice cold beer.
Yeah. See, I like to nerd out on it a little bit and sip it, evaluate it, let it warm up, sip it again, go through that whole process, and then eventually I waited too long, and now my beer's warm.
And now it's warm. And you're like, oh no,
what did I do?
So they only make this around October time?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and it's their fall seasonal, and it's called Wick for Brains from Nebraska Brewing Company.
It's. I mean, I'm with you. We have it on this segment every year, and then inevitably I go out and I buy a 6-pack shortly after that because I remember how good it is, and it's just in a world where everything is overdone and taken to the max.
Mm-hmm.
This one shows restraint. I think it's been around longer than a lot of the more trendy pumpkin beers that are out there. I don't know how many years they've been doing it, but it feels like a lot.
I think at least 15.
Yeah.
The other thing too is like it's the only pumpkin beer that I actually think that I actually like.
Yeah.
Like I'll taste one and go, oh, that's interesting, or I tolerate it, but I don't really necessarily like it per se. This I actually really enjoy.
You downed yours.
I did.
I'm gonna be honest, Nebraska Brewing Company. I was not expecting to like this. I like it. This is good.
Attaboy, Rico.
I like this.
That's what we're talking about.
I'm not gonna buy a 6-pack, but I like this.
Maybe a 1-pack.
Maybe like one.
You can do that at Myers Cork and Bottle.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
We have, I want to say it's like 135 options in the mix of 6. So you can buy 135 different beers by the beer instead of having to buy a
so if you want to mix
has
a one,
anybody ever done that?
135 beers?
Just taking one of everything.
I'd like a mix of 135, please.
Yes. I'm going to need a box.
Or two.
and a dolly for that.
The back of the car is just weighed down.
Look, someone out there is up for the challenge. I know they are.
Somebody has to look.
I mean, if someone does that, I'll give them a discount.
Yeah, I'm throwing down the
take one of everything. You'll get a discount.
I'm throwing down the gauntlet right now for whoever wants to do that. Mix up 136.
Call it the Rico.
I'll join you.
Call it the Rico special.
I'll join you. We can do a podcast.
Yeah. Well,
nobody ever does podcasts while drinking beer.
We could
135 beers later.
Maybe.
Yes.
Like, how many weeks are you going to take to get through them all?
Just
is that no? Hang on. I don't hate the idea of
You're interested.
You buy those 135, and then you do a 3BL over the course of however many weeks that is. I was going to try and do math, but it wasn't happening. 45 weeks or whatever that is.
Sure.
And that is the podcast.
I bet you could make it math out to an exact year of 52 weeks.
If you add a couple varieties to your mix of 6 coolers,
I will do that. Done.
All right,
cool.
So
I will listen to this podcast.
Who wants to do a podcast with me for however many weeks?
52 weeks.
52 weeks, drinking 3 beers.
So that's 156 beers.
Who wants to? I'm throwing down the gauntlet.
Text line.
You're paying for it. I'm not.
With a discount.
With a
courtesy
discount.
of Kevin Meyer.
I didn't say how good of a discount.
But it'll be there.
Perhaps we should move on.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. What do we got in store for the wine?
So, big news. The fall wine sale starts tomorrow.
Yes.
And it is our biggest sale since before COVID. And it's kind of a big deal. It's actually late. I've been so busy with events and tailgates and fall weddings and all that kind of stuff that I couldn't put the amount of effort into getting the sale going as I thought it warranted. So I delayed it a couple of weeks. It's kicking off tomorrow, and actually today. You can stop in and get all the sale prices. And this is a brand new wine to the store. It's called Oak Farm Vineyards, and it's called Tievoli. It's an Italian word, and because it's an Italian family who founded Oak Farm Vineyards. And this is the red blend, and so it's predominantly Zinfandel, which came over from Italy, and in Italy they actually call the grape Primitivo, and then it's also Barbera, which comes from the northern Piedmont region in Italy. If you've ever heard of Asti or Asti Spumante, there's also a red wine called Barbera d'Asti, and it just means Barbera of the Asti region. There's Petit Syrah, which in Italy is known as Durif, Durif, and then Sangiovese, which is the king grape of Tuscany. And so it's truly an Italian red blend, but done in the United States in Lodi. And it's just kind of a historic place. The place was originally founded in the 1860s. It was a wheat farm and a ranch. And an old Italian fellow built this manor of this estate, and then later on in the 30s, another family purchased the estate and then started growing grapes and eventually made it into a winery. But they still have cattle and other things as well, and it's just kind of a real kind of what's interesting, especially in areas like Lodi, very much a farming community, and so when we think of vineyards, we think of all this sort of picturesque, vacation-y type stuff. They're farmers. They grow grapes and they grow other stuff too. And so it's really not that different from here in Nebraska. It's just the crop is different, and then and eventually gets turned into wine, where the artistry comes from. And so these are currently on sale for like $20, $22, something like that. And there's a Cabernet, there's this red blend, there's a white, Sauvignon Blanc, I believe, and just really, really good wines that are made by the people who grow the grapes. And that's there's another term for that. It's called estate grown or estate bottled, because believe it or not all wineries have their own vineyard, and not all vineyards have their own winery. So there's a trade that happens. Well, this one has their fingerprint on it from start to finish and paying homage to their Italian heritage.
I have always been a massive fan of red blends, and I think I may have just found my new favorite red blend.
How about that?
Is delicious.
It's it's kind of my first taste is a bit of a fruit bomb.
Yeah.
And when I think of fall wines, I want a wine that I can drink with chili. And this, sometimes that spicy heat in the chili, it needs almost that fruit to hold up to it, or even like heavy curry, like Indian food. Mm-hmm. Wine like this would go really, really well with that. So anything spicy, anything hot, this I think would be outstanding.
This has me wanting to sit on the porch and just watch my kids run around in the backyard.
Well, I've got news for you. You can actually sit on the porch and watch your kids running around in the backyard with this bottle once the shows up.
I think I'm definitely going to do that. I don't have a porch.
The kids are going to get a little more out of focus as the bottle empties, but
you guys are doing great.
Don't go too far.
Don't go to the tall grass.
So I never really, we talk about the soil quality at vineyards and how that affects the grape and the terroir and fancy words like that. I've never thought about the history of the land and what it was before it was a vineyard and how that might impact what it is now. You mentioned how it was a wheat field.
There's a wheat field and a ranch, and then the Italian founder loved trees.
Okay.
And oak trees were his favorite tree to grow because they lasted a long time. And some of the trees that he planted back in the 1860s are still alive and still growing in the winery. So that's hence the term oak farm.
So how much, if someone's wanting to start a vineyard, right, and they're scouting out locations, is that something that goes into consideration? Is the way that land was treated previously?
Oh, absolutely. And soil composition, there is an adage about wine grapes is that the harder the vine has to stress in order to survive, the more precious the fruit it bears. And so it also helps when you have like these more loose sort of gravelly type soils, because the roots of those vines can penetrate different sedimentary layers. And so many times if it has the ability to penetrate 30, 40 feet into the ground, it's picking up all of those different minerals from each layer it's going through, and creating a lot of different complexities in the wine, what they call phenols. And basically phenols are chemical compounds. And so you have to allow those grapes, number one, climate wise, they have to mature slowly. You can't just, like in Nebraska, it kind of gets too hot too quick. And so those grapes ripen really, really fast. You want a long, slow growing season, the contrast of the warm days and cool nights. So coastal climates work really well for that. Elevated climates work really well for that. And then, of course, you want land that has been respected and allowed for those soils to regenerate over time and not just stripped and replanted. So it's a real delicate balance, that's for sure.
Interesting.
I was sorry, I wasn't all right there. I was learning more about wine.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
I was learning about the grapes and the growing process
and the terroir
the terroir. So one more time, what's the wine?
Oak Farm Vineyards. This is called their Tievoli Red Blend, and there's also a Cabernet, a Sauvignon Blanc, and the fall wine sale starts. So we're having, I want to say, 150 different wines on sale. Our biggest sale since before COVID ever happened, and should be a good time. So if you're in need for any fall grape juice, come down and see us.
So if a person wanted to come in and buy all 150 bottles of wine and start a podcast, there's a discount associated with that too.
Well, indeed, yeah. If you took one of everything, we could certainly work something out.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Throwing down the gauntlet.
We call that one the mark.
Mark's throwing down the gauntlet for that one. Look at that. Beer, wine.
Make sure and let us know that I want the Mark special or the Rico special, whichever one it is.
We'll be waiting on that. I'll be awaiting a phone call. One more time. What was the beer?
Beer is called Wick for Brains from Nebraska Brewing Company, and it is a pumpkin ale brewed right here in good old Nebraska, up in Omaha.
Well, before we get out of here, I just want to ask you 2 questions.
Okay.
Thoughts on the win against Indiana and what do you expect tomorrow?
So my thoughts on the win against Indiana was that it was really good to see some fire in their pants again. Been a while, and let's face it, football's an effort game, and so I liked the hustle. It wasn't clean per se, but that's okay. I don't even care if it's clean. Get the W and play hard, and fly around, and then it appeared to me that that's what they were doing. Thoughts tomorrow? I am reserving any thoughts because I feel like I've been kicked in the so many times that. I'm not going to do the old Charlie Brown Lucy, pull the football out from under me. So I'm cautiously optimistic. If they bring the same energy that they brought last week, I think we get the dub.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Uncle Kev. Head on down to Myers Cork and Bottle Fall Wine Sale starting tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Officially tomorrow, but it can happen today.
He's very laissez-faire about it.
If you're hankering for a good deal on a good bottle of wine, it'll be there for you.
Thank you so much, Uncle Kev. Myers Cork and Bottle. That's Thirsty Thursday right here on Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. There is no better place to watch any Nebraska game other than the 50-yard line at Memorial Stadium. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Registration is now open for winter sports leagues for adult basketball and youth basketball through Lincoln Parks and Rec. Adult kickball and volleyball registration are also open. Competitive and recreational leagues are available, so whether you're an athlete, a former athlete, or a wannabe athlete, there's a league for you. Plus, check out their paid opportunities for officials and referees. Contact Lincoln Parks and Rec to learn more or head to teamsideline.com/LincolnNE before October 16th to register your team. That's teamsideline.com/LincolnNE.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit asbmidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money. But like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Pumps in a back, pumps in a back. We like the girls with the pumps in a back. Pumps in a back, pumps in a back. We like the girls with the pumps in a back. Pumps in a back, pumps in a back. We like the girls with the pumps in a back. Pumps in a back, pumps in a back. Give me the girls with the pumps in a back.
Welcome back. Final segment of the first hour here on Old School. Carter's back.
Yeah.
Hi, Carter.
What's up?
I'm sorry we had to exclude you from Thirsty Thursday.
That's all right.
Maybe one day.
One day.
The red blend was delicious. I'm sorry.
Couple of years.
How old are you?
19.
19? Okay. Yeah, you'll be fine. It's a couple of years. You'll be good. You'll be good. But so scrolling through Twitter during the break, I stumbled across another picture of NBA prospect phenom Victor Wembanyama, the French 7'4" center, power forward, whatever the heck they decide to put him at when he gets to the NBA.
Might be a point guard for all we know.
Yeah, I mean, hell, dude. So I stumbled across another picture of him standing next to multiple time, I think 2-3-time defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert, who many people know. He is also French. He is 7 feet tall, and he towers over most of the NBA. Victor Wembanyama is looking down on Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how tall that guy is and how well he blocks shots and still will just pull up for 3 and just splash in your face.
Victor Wembanyama has the skills, the handles of a point guard, the height of a very tall center, and the shooting stroke of, I'm not going to compare it to any, a very good shooter. I would like a 38% three-point shooter.
Kevin Durant.
It's good. I mean, sure. Yeah. I mean, that people were trying to compare him to Giannis. No, I get his.
Oh, no, he's a way better shooter than Giannis.
His closest player comp would probably be Kevin Durant, just because the length, the shooting, the handles, the everything skill there's only one other person you could compare that to, and that's Kevin Durant. Like, it's just disgusting what he's able to do at his height. And I'm very interested to see him play in the G League this year. Get drafted number 1 overall. He's going to go number 1. It doesn't matter what anybody else does. Scoot Henderson is the closest. He's going to go number 2 more than likely. He just injured his knee playing today, so we'll see how that goes. But
did you see Wembanyama's quote on Scoot Henderson?
Yeah, he said if I had never been born, he would be the best player in this draft class. I'm like, that is the cockiness we need in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
We need more cocky people. Stop being friends with everybody. I need somebody to just look at everybody and say, I'm better than you.
So are the Knicks going to tank for Wembanyama?
No, they're actually going to have a good season this year.
Oh, okay.
They the power index, win index, whatever the heck it is, has them at 47 wins this year and a 8 seed in the East. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited. It's gonna be good. Jalen Brunson is the point guard we've been waiting for. He's not a superstar. He's not elite.
Paid him a lot of money.
He is a very good point guard, and hopefully Julius Randle believes in what he's telling himself and is going to take kind of a step back and realize that he doesn't have to do everything himself. RJ Barrett, if he continues to keep growing and getting better season by season, it's going to be a great year for him. So we'll see what happens. I am extremely excited for the NBA season to start.
Oh yeah, I am too. I like RJ Barrett a lot. I mean, I'm definitely not a Knicks fan, but I know you are. But RJ Barrett, I liked him a lot out of college. So I don't know. I hope he ends up being good. I mean, got a lot of competition with the top 2. His spot at 3 was kind of tough with Williamson and Morant in front of him, because I'm very excited for Zion to come back as well. I think people forget how dominant he was for those games that he played when he was healthy as a rookie, and I'm excited for him to get back too.
He looks very in shape, and it's going to be very interesting to see. And I mean, the Pelicans offered him not the bag, but a bag. So we'll see exactly how this season goes for him. But that's going to do it for the first hour here on Old School. We'll have the Barry Thompson hour. The quarterbacks coach, Fairfax Football Academy, will be calling in. We'll be joined by him for an hour, sponsored by Ambition Electric. I believe Jay Foreman will be getting here at 5, maybe a little bit later. We'll see when the Husker Hall of Famer stops in. But that's going to do it for the first hour here on Old School. We'll see you on the other side.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis, and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word, live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit ASBMidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
Registration is now open for winter sports leagues for adult basketball and youth basketball through Lincoln Parks and Rec. Adult kickball and volleyball registration are also open. Competitive and recreational leagues are available, so whether you're an athlete, a former athlete, or a wannabe athlete, there's a league for you. Plus, check out their paid opportunities for officials and referees. Contact Lincoln Parks and Rec to learn more or head to teamsideline.com/LincolnNE before October 16th to register your team. That's teamsideline.com/LincolnNE.
The dog days of summer are here. Is your yard in need of a touch-up as we head into the fall season? August, September, and October are the months for aeration, and Penner Sprinkler and Lawn is the place to call to get the job done right. If you're noticing any issues with your sprinkler system through the hot summer months, they're always a call away, and they're already scheduling installs for sprinkler systems for next year and all other lawn care needs. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking here in Louisville. We are really hitting on all cylinders right now, and deals are off the charts. We've got a lot more new 2022 and 2023 Chevrolet and GMC inventory than we've had in a long time. So make sure you check us out online, or do even better, stop on in the store and let us show you one in person. Our pre-owned lot is plumb full, so take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance to make your project go smooth. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online at deckcityne.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Life was a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back to the second hour of Old School here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Old School, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Go out there, get yourself some delicious cuts of meat, some delicious desserts, some delicious pastas, and really whatever you need regarding food. I'm sure the Mercado can hook you up. The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese sponsors Old School. Also, if you want to get in contact with us, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. Don't be afraid to text in. You can't call in because we have a guest on the line, but don't be afraid to text in right now with any questions that you might have. Also, join us Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream. But without further ado, I have to do something that if DP was here, he would tell me to hit that man's music.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash with a silver hat about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
You gotta let it breathe. You just gotta let the drums go a little bit, let it breathe, especially with this music. We are joined on the Honda of Lincoln hotline by the one, the only Barry Thompson, Fairfax Football Academy. Barry, how are you, good sir?
Good and getting better. You give me an intro like that, I keep looking over my shoulder and saying, who are they talking about? How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a while since I've been able to talk to you. You know, they switched up the schedules. I'm not with DP and J anymore.
Yeah. It's a lot of changes at station going on. That's I guess that's what growth does. So you guys are doing a great job in the market, and I'm listening to all the different commercials and everything else. Congratulations to everybody who's putting in the effort to make that thing go.
We are doing everything that we can to grow and get better day by day. Speaking of getting better day by day, before we get into any Husker talk, I want to ask you about your one-win Raiders. They finally got a win under their belt over the much unliked Denver Broncos. I guess we'll go with that.
Yeah, you got it entirely right. Yeah, it was a win, and just to make clear, I'm a Raider fan, but I'm not I don't pay attention to the draft, who's drafting, and I don't really care who's coaching. It's just that my Raiders, when they're playing, I'm rooting for them to win, and I'm in there, and that's one part of me. And the other part, I'm probably the worst Raider fan because if they win, like they did, they're going to the Super Bowl. So that's kind of how I did it. Yeah, and it was great to see them beat Denver. Just general football talk. The AFC West, everybody was talking about how tough it was. It was a week, not last week, but 2 weeks ago, they all got blanked. I think everybody in the conference lost. And then now they come back and have that. And I think Kansas City's coming up soon. So it's a fun time for on Sundays to catch them playing.
It's a blast. The NFL is certainly weird to watch nowadays, but let's move on to the Huskers heading out to New Jersey, out on the East Coast. DP's headed out there. I'm sure if he has time, if he's out there for an extended period of time, I'm sure he'll see if he can make time to make his way down to you. I'm sure, but
well, he's actually going to fly over, so I'll wave to him in the sky. But he's, and I don't knock you off your point, but my brother, hopefully DC and my brother hook up. My brother's in town. I know the Huskers are playing Friday night, but Georgetown and Rutgers have a fall baseball game, so hopefully those two can connect.
That'd be really nice. But so you're obviously you're a coach, you're a quarterback's coach, and this last game against Indiana, there was a moment in the game that had a lot of Husker fans scratching their heads and questioning the coaching decisions that were being made when Casey Thompson took an ill-advised sack on a third down. He was taken out of the game for the next drive where the Huskers were pinned inside their own 5, and Chubba Purdy was taking the snaps, ended up taking a sack for a sack fumble for a touchdown for Indiana. Have you ever been in a situation where you needed to or wanted to pull your quarterback just to kind of get them back on the same page as you, or just to have them look at the game from the sideline from a different perspective because maybe things weren't going the way that you thought they should be going with him?
Right. That's a very old school thing to do. It used to be very common. To listeners that are old enough, it used to be very common, no matter who the guy was, if he really wasn't going, and, maybe a coach would pull him out and get another guy. Even though he pulled him out as your starter, things started going, they'd let the second string guy go. Then that got reduced down to kind of what you witnessed last weekend, which is, hey, let's pull you out. There's some stuff that you're missing. We've been talking about it. I need to talk to you maybe during an offensive possession, and you're going back in and getting this thing right. a little old school, but there's nothing wrong with old school as long as the players understand, what it is. Nowadays the players, you have a chance to talk to them through all the replays that they have available to them on the sideline. You would think that in most cases you can kind of get that done. I assume that was being done. And then here it was maybe making some obvious mistake or not seeing a particular coverage or front or protection a certain way. At any rate, it worked out, didn't it?
It did. It worked out very well.
Okay.
Casey Thompson came back in, and he played a fantastic game. So I would say that it worked out very well. And Casey, even after the game, at the postgame presser and the following press conference that they had on Monday, I believe, was saying how he likes being coached hard, and although he didn't like being taken out of the game, he understood it and respected it, and he got himself right back in the game. And both Mark Whipple and Mickey Joseph both understood and were on the same page as Casey Thompson, and they respected and knew that he knew that they wanted the best for him.
Yeah, and the key in listening to that, what you were kind of summarizing, as I was listening hard, that he said he understood. That's the key, right? So that it's explained ahead of time and it's understood that this is why this is being done. And even if the player doesn't fully agree with it, at least he understands, what's going on. I've worked with coaches who've told me in advance that they said they would come to me and say, "Hey, sometimes I'm going to yell at the quarterback." I said, "When I yell at the quarterback, I need you to back me up." Now, I said, "Okay," because I'm working for a head coach, and this may be a little subversive, but I said, "Okay, well, the first time you need to do that, let me do it." Now, knowing my guys, I didn't think that was the right tactic. So I actually told them, I said, there's going to come a point in the game where I'm going to look like I'm yelling at you, and understand the reason I'm yelling at you is because I want to get the attention of the other players on the team. Right. So as long as it's understood, then the player doesn't have to necessarily agree with it. In this case, it sounds like he did. But the understanding part is really big in any aspect of coaching. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
No,
That's great.
That makes sense. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I guess I kind of wanted to dig deeper on the coaching aspect of things. We're 4 or 5 weeks into the Mickey Joseph interim era at Nebraska. We're 3 weeks into the Bill Busch defensive coordinator, interim defensive coordinator era at Nebraska. And there was such a stark difference in the way that this Husker team played from the week of Oklahoma through the bye week to the week of Indiana that I'm not sure. I've never been in the position of a coach. I'm not sure how much of a difference a coaching staff can make mentally on a team that they can play at such a different level from 1 week to the next.
Well, understand the jumping off point with this squad. You guys know the numbers. How many? What was the record in one-score games? Roughly, just give me a number. Just I won't hold you to it, but roughly, what was it?
Probably like 0 or 1 in 10, something like that.
Yeah, was it in the 20s even?
It might have been just through all the years.
Digits.
Yeah,
we can agree it's double digits.
Yeah,
so it's like 1 in double digits, one-score games. Okay, that one score. So even despite the dysfunction, this group of guys, this program as it was constructed, was able to get them in what I call 50-50 games, a volume of them, not just 1 or 2, but a volume of one-score games. They just weren't coming out. So that's a pretty good leaping off point to get things corrected. Now, typically when you come into a situation like that, there are a couple things that you want to do. One, you want to get rid of anybody who's not with the program. Like, you want to do that right away, right? Because it's just the easiest thing to do. It sends a message, and this is what we're doing. The second thing that you want to do is you want to simplify everything for the players. You want to reduce the amount of if-then scenarios for the players. Those two things, coming in, demonstrating one way or the other that you have the authority to coach this group, and then getting rid of anybody who's not with it, player, coach, assistant, secretary, doesn't matter, getting them out. And then reducing the if-then scenarios for the players, you're going to see improved play. The players aren't confused. They're not worried about making mistakes. They're ready to go out and play, and everything is clear for them, right? And that's the classic, hey, we can get them playing faster type thing, right? All this stuff sounds really simple when I'm talking on the radio, but understand it is difficult to get done. And so what those guys have done in a short period of time, those are a remarkable set of coaches that have gone in at least for 1 week, gotten things back in the bag, and there are signs of light that it's heading in the right direction.
We're speaking with Barry Thompson, Fairfax Football Academy, and you mentioned something during that answer that kind of took me back to two instances, really, and that was, you said that slowing things down and getting back to the basics, where Bill Busch said that they're kind of stripping the defense down and they were getting back to the basics, and they were starting with just lining up correctly, just making sure that before the ball is snapped for the opposing team on offense, that everybody on the defense is lined up in the right spots. And also that Adam Carricker was on with Vershawn earlier this week and said something to the tune of, it seemed like the defense wasn't thinking as much and they were just going out and being athletes.
Right. Well, defense, there's a saying that offensive players are built from the feet up and defensive players are built from the eyes down. So all defenses, their intentions are to whatever alignment, whatever 5-2-5, 3-5-5 tight, over front, under front, bear, TNT, whatever you want to call it. The base intention is to be gap sound, meaning that all the run gaps that are available are to be covered, whether you're a one gap player, two gap, but they're all accounted for, right? And then after that, then you build your coverage or tying in your coverage to what's being played in front. So the lining up part, that's what that is. Against formations, how do we want to line up? And then after that, each player defensively has to know exactly where his eyes need to be. And they have to have the discipline, and they have to have the trust that key is going to take them to the right spot, right? So defensive players are built from the eyes down, because once you get them lined up, and you'll watch this, you saw some of it against Indiana if you go back and watch it, especially the guys at linebacker and second, they'll have calm feet. The ball snap, and their feet are moving in a very purposeful manner. And what that is their eyes are taking in the key, and then boom, you see a reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you get 11 guys that are doing their 111th like that, everybody always seems like they're in the right spot, because the coaching staff has said the tape and say, hey, this want to play in this down distance, this formation. They take care of the calls. You go out and play the defense.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. So kind of building on that is, getting people lined up, making sure everybody's in the right spot. The defense, one of the major changes that was made was taking out a high-level transfer corner and inserting a true freshman, his first game action at Nebraska, a night game against a team, for his interim head coach's second game ever. What would you as a coach say to a Malcolm Hartzog, a true freshman going into his first game in such a kind of pressure-packed situation?
Well, if they remove this high-level transfer and they put the freshman in, that kind of goes to, well, let me answer the question. I would tell them go play. Go play. Because if I'm going to put him in, I'm not putting him in for an experimental purposes. He's shown me something, and I'm confident that he can go out and perform if I'm putting him in. This isn't a scrimmage, right? This isn't some feeder league into the Big Ten. This is the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. I'm not putting him out in the field unless I'm confident he can do the job. He's demonstrated to me in multiple practices that he knows what he's doing. He can make the plays. Whatever I need to see in practice, I've seen it. So what would I say to him? I would say, go play. Now, that's another thing I was talking about earlier. When you come into a situation like that, there are people who, when things change, they're not going to be with it one way or the other. And the sooner you can get rid of those people, get them out of the way, the better off that you are. And I don't mean that in a bad sense, right? Like, I don't know this high-level transfer, but, there might have been stuff that he was missing. Maybe, I can't speculate. All that I know, when you make a switch like that, a less experienced guy versus experienced guy, the inexperienced guy is more with whatever they want to do than the other guy. You got me?
Yeah.
And so the quicker you make those changes, the better off you are. And you will be surprised when you start playing enough, especially as a team. You go back and look at the team. There are a lot of pieces that don't make sense. There are a lot of pieces that don't make sense, but you got a collection of guys that are doing what needs to be done. And a word that some coaches use, they don't use a lot, but this word of alignment, right? That everything in the program, from the janitor through the third string long snapper, that everybody is grabbing the rope at the same time and pulling it in the same direction. That's what's really important to getting teams to go out and play and maximize what they're capable of doing.
Barry, hey, this is J4, man. I just popped
Hey,
in. Yeah, man,
Jay, how you doing?
fighting traffic for whatever reason. Everybody on one of the roads to get me in. It usually takes me 6 minutes, but it took me 17. But I know you were talking about Casey in the quick pull, and I want to get here's my view on it. I've been yanked before. And I've coached, and I think sometimes, there's never a right time to yank somebody, right? It's just like when you feel it. Right. I think the only problem I had with it, and I think sometimes you do it early to kind of wake them up a little bit, right? But I think the only problem I had with it is the drop back pass deep in your end zone. You run it twice and drop back on third down. If I'm a defensive coordinator, if you ran it twice, if you run it a third time, I think I'm gonna get off the field. But I'm blitzing you, and I'm gonna make sure I hit you. And then obviously you saw what happened. I think more or less the call there, and at the end of the day, you tell your quarterbacks they need to keep a hold of the ball. So ultimately, it was that last play was probably the only thing that probably I would be somewhat critical of. But
you know what, Jay, I agree with you. And if you heard me saying that pulling people is kind of like from the quarterback position,
right?
Not other positions. The quarterback position kind of went off its own island as far as people coming in and out of the game.
Sure.
The other positions that Jay's kind of alluding to, that you get yanked all the time. Like, no, you're not in the rotation.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
And I ain't never forget though either, man. I know every coach that pulled me too. Every time I see Coach Samuel, I saw Coach Samuel Oklahoma week. I reminded him, man. I said, man, listen here, man. You remember when you took me out against Texas? They gave up that big run, man. You know what? Hey, they didn't score while the homeboys were in there.
Absolutely. Look, I'm gonna tell you a funny story about coaches. But anyway, but from the quarterback perspective, Jay, that kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Right? Like nobody. So that was kind of new. Now, what I want to know from is I need to see the all 22 of those particular play, and to me, the reason that you would yank him on that thing, there's something that he was told about that call, that situation,
right?
Something, right? And it wasn't executed.
Yeah,
it wasn't executed.
I think from watching from up top, the play that they hit in the fourth quarter, I guess the skinny post, that was open.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In that series, or at least in that last particular play. But also you have to have a sense of reality of, and this is why I have another question for you. But the sense of reality is the pocket at times is not as clean. Like the play call can be good, right?
Right.
And talk about this. The play call could be good, but you're watching down the field as a coordinator, right? Because you see the ball snap, you're looking for a safety or whatever you're reading. If you're reading the linebacker safety or whatever it is, you're looking at that. Yeah. But you ain't looking at that line because that line ain't them passing lanes ain't clean.
Right. So
that changes the way you speed up and what you decide to do in a pressure situation.
Yeah. And let me tell you what experienced quarterbacks will do with their protection. It's and this is why, from a quarterback perspective, really knowing your protection inside and out is really important because of the situation you're striving. Let's say that I have a 2-jet or a 3-jet protection. I'm getting a football link. Let's see. There's only a couple different protection schemes, say 5-man schemes. So for everybody out there, just in case there's somebody who doesn't know, you have 5 linemen. So you can take 3 of your linemen. Let's look at everybody's your quarterback position, lines in front of you. So you have the center, the left tackle, and the left guard. Those 3 can slide to the left and essentially protect in a zone situation. Your right guard and your right tackle can take on a man basis the people that are in front of them, and then the back who's back there will also work toward that right guard, right tackle side. So now you have a 6-man protection. So kind of a zone or half, which referred to as a half slot on the left and kind of man on the right. And I'm describing this for you because this is what good quarterbacks will do sometimes to buy time.
Right.
So your quarterback, and when you drop back, you're supposed to do what's called anchoring your drop. There's a mythical line that runs through the center's crotch and the quarterback's crotch, and that's where you're supposed to function.
Right.
But if I'm a quarterback and I want to buy a little bit extra time, what I'll do after I drop back or hit my last step, I'm going to take a little steps toward the zone side of that protection. Why? Because if anybody's going to get beat in a protection, it's most likely the one-on-one side.
Right.
And if I just take a couple steps away from them, I increase the distance that defender has to go to get me. That buys me the time, and I can get the ball off. Right. And when you watch on Sundays, Josh Allen's famous for Josh Allen. Every time that he wants to throw an over route, if you were to get a 22 of him, you'll see him drop back, and he will take 2 little bitty steps to the zone or slide side of his protection to buy him the time to get the over off. So that's something that can come. I'm sure Coach Whipple's talked to him about it. But that's kind of how these quarterbacks do that. It's stuff that you wouldn't normally see, but it's stuff that they do, and they buy a little extra time, and they get there in a little extra room. Now, the other thing, Jay, to your point, is when you slide to the zone side or the slide side, you may not have as clear lanes as you would, right? So there's you give it and take it away, but that's the way around that. And pass protection overall has been better, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It has. It's
Yeah.
significantly better.
That's the reason we bring you on here, is for some knowledge like that.
Yeah, that was big time. I wish I knew that when I was playing, because I would have maybe got me a few more sacks.
But so we're gonna head to a break. On the other side of the break, hopefully, you're just stick around with us. We'll get some more of that amazing quarterbacking knowledge that you have. Listening to Old School on 93.7 The Ticket.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Need to send a message? Send it with cake.
Congratulations? Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you? Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking here in Louisville. We are really hitting on all cylinders right now, and deals are off the charts. We've got a lot more new 2022 and 2023 Chevrolet and GMC inventory than we've had in a long time. So make sure you check us out online, or do even better, stop on in the store and let us show you one in person. Our pre-owned lot is plumb full, so take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Here's to days spent roaming, and to sleeping beneath the stars, to casting another line and letting time float by. From Shadron State Park to Indian Cave State Park and every recreation area, historical and state park in between. Here's to your adventures, your memories. Here's to going out and enjoying your Nebraska state parks. Plan your next trip today at yournebraskaparks.org. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance to make your project go smooth. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online at deckcityne.com.
Back to old school with DP and J.
Well, if you're feeling all right and you think you're on, somebody let me know. Will everybody in the place put a whistle in your face, screaming out and say, yo, yeah.
Welcome back, Old School 93.7 The Ticket. Rico, Jay Foreman, joined by the great Barry Thompson, Fairfax Football Academy. I'm going to keep saying it. You're a great man.
Well, maybe someday I'll start believing it. But for right now, I just gotta. I keep looking over my shoulder.
Hey, Barry, one thing I wanted to ask you about just the quarterbacks in general. You see a lot of crossing routes, right? But what you see is, a lot of quarterbacks throwing behind the receivers. So why is that? Is it lack of anticipation? The windows not being as clear, or them not because I think that whether it's, if you're going against the zone, you got to throw it differently versus where you're throwing against man, you're going to throw to, you want to throw them open.
Right. So, let me just describe for your listeners the classic one. Let's say I was just watching this weekend and a guy missed it. Let's say you got two receivers to your right and you've got them running some type of vertical route and you have, pretty much man coverage on, maybe off man. So the two defenders are going to go with those vertical rights. And from your left, it can be a tight end or, kind of that, not a sniffer, but, that kind of the H-back, but they move him out in kind of the tight end position, but he's off the line. And then he can run kind of not a shallow, but, he'll cross at maybe this 10 to 12-yard area. So your quarterback, he's going to start off and he may be looking at that vertical route to get the safety to go with the two vertical routes. Or he may be looking and making sure that the linebacker, the inside linebacker on the inside vertical route, that he clears, right? If he goes vertical, then there's nobody underneath, right? So he could be looking at that. All right. So he does that first part of it. As he does that, this crossing route is on the run. What he needs to do is at that point not throw the ball. He needs to reset his hips and then throw.
Right.
And so a lot of times what you'll see quarterbacks do is they're looking to that side that we're talking about. They get the read that they want, and then they'll throw the ball. Well, that's going to lead to a lot of inconsistency. At that point, you have to reset. Just from a technical standpoint, the back foot, your back foot, sets the line for the throw. So if I was to, wherever you put your back foot, if I was to draw a line straight from that ankle bone straight to wherever you wanted to throw,
Right.
that should be in your target area. So if you think of a guy dropping straight back, right?
Right.
And he's got this pattern that's going to cross and from his face from left to right, and he's dropping straight back. At the time he wants to throw that crossing route that's off to his right now, he's got to reset his hips and reset his base and then throw the ball. If they do that, you'll see quarterbacks one. Now, the other one that comes into play is, let's say, and there's a lot of split coverages in some of these defenses. So they'll I'm going to get technical. I'm going to get geeky here. Jay will enjoy this. You can sometimes see three high safeties, and what they'll do is they'll divide the field into half.
Right.
And two of those safeties will play cover two. And
Yep.
three of the underneath defenders will play cover two. Now, to the backside, they'll also play cover two, but they're only playing cover two from the boundary over. Right,
Right.
Jay?
Right. Yep.
Right, exactly, right? And it takes – so in that case, you could have a corner, a cloud corner, a guy's going to play tough, and the backers maybe have something, and then that over route that we're talking has to go over the head of a linebacker.
Oh, yeah.
And so some people call that a level two ball. There's a very simple way to tell quarterbacks how to stroke that ball to make it go up and down. So you're talking about being sound mechanically. That's the base.
Right.
And the reason you want to be sound mechanically is because you have to be able to do things with the football at the quarterback position. The most famous one is let's say you want to run a bender and he's just clearing the linebacker, or that ball can't be driven or it's going to hit the back of the linebacker's head.
Right.
Right. That ball has to go up and has to come down into the hands and before the safety. So that's when you're mechanically sound. Now you can manipulate the ball. But their base answer is, if you go back and look, you'll find probably the quarterback didn't reset his hips before he threw. And they'll do it on shallows a lot, right? Teams that don't show shallow routes a lot, you'll see the guy streaking by and the quarterback will throw on the ball, will be on his back shoulder, it'll be a little bit high.
Right.
Right? And if you go back and look technically, that's probably what the quarterback did.
Barry, from your perspective, a big thing I said was, good defenses, I think they really do a good job of rerouting, throwing off the timing of offenses, whether you reroute or just position your body. For you, how hard is it to scheme against a team that's really technically sound and can throw off your rhythm? Obviously with releases, you see when the first time the Rams played the Patriots in the Super Bowl, they did a really good job of obviously jamming their receivers and just destroying their route combinations and their timing. And even at the college level, whether you're facing an RPO team or just, any type of, whether you got a pro style or whatever, changing the route combinations and progressions by your either body or rerouting. How hard is that to scheme against or play against?
Well, I start off by telling receivers, I tell them, if you get rerouted, you're dead.
Right.
So don't expect the ball. I'm
Right.
just saying, you need to figure this rerouting things out. There's a guy about 7 yards off. We pass, his only purpose is to get his hands on you.
Right.
And you let him do it, just understand you're never going to get the ball. So let's work on that. So that's that. I think the toughest defense is one, there's sometimes you can have a defense that just physically will overwhelm you.
Right.
Right. And they're just physically better, and that's a nightmare. But the one that we're talking about in the main is, I think that's what you're kind of talking about, Jay, is a defense who's just solid. Right? The defensive backs and the linebackers, they're not hopping around, right? They're not fooled. Their
Right.
eyes aren't fooled. Because I'm going to tell you, about 90% of offense is to get you, like you're in a spot, and somehow I get you to move left, and then I throw right where you are.
Right. Yeah.
That's 90% of offense. And so when you have a defense that doesn't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, you're going to my left, but my buddy's handling that. My job is to stay right here, right? Or I'm backpedaling. I'm a backer, and I see a crosser. I yell in, and I immediately start looking for work,
Right?
Because I know something's coming back. That type of defense, yeah, that's a problem because they're just not giving you anything the way that offenses normally function. You think about mesh routes, right? Mesh routes, they got two backers and they got two routes coming from opposite sides they're going to cross. Well, theoretically, the backer should be able to handle that, right?
Right.
One backer sees a thing going across his face, he yells N. The other backer at the same time says N, and boom, they're both there. But what happens? One backer starts squeezing the route, right? Quarterback throws away from that backer, and then the other mesh route's wide open, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So that's a great example of about how 90% of offense works. It's just you get a defense where their eyes are disciplined, their gaps sound, they're playing where they're supposed to play. That, to me, that type of defense would drive me crazy.
Hey, Barry, I wanted to ask your opinion. How important is it for the offense as a general to be patient in the first couple drives against this Rutgers defense? Because their defense is going to come and obviously have energy.
Yeah.
They got the blackout and
Yeah.
so forth and so on.
Right.
But how important? Just I call it playing steady.
Yeah.
But how
Yeah.
important is it for them to have the mindset? Hey, look, let's take what they give us, and just obviously we'd like to be meticulous and matriculate down the field. But if we don't,
Right.
just be patient because eventually we'll get our shots.
Yeah, to me, that's you want an offense that has the ability to do both, right? You want them to be able to, hey, this is there to go get it, and we're going to go get it, and then, hey, we're things are a little bit rough and blah blah blah, and okay, let's just get 3 yards, let's get 4 yards, let's find a way to move the chain. To me, I think what happens more often, Jay, is there are parts of the game where offensively you want to be patient.
Yeah.
And there's parts of the game where you want to go at it. And so the maturity comes and the efficiency comes when you have a guy at the controls who can understand that this is a part of the game where I've got to take a check down. This is a part of the game for reasons. I tell quarterbacks, there's at least 5 different ways that you need to understand the play, right? So when you're a young guy and young player, okay, I'll just remember the play call and I know what I'm supposed to do, right? And then from a quarterback perspective, okay, I know where everybody's lined up and so forth. Then you've got to understand, okay, what is the defense doing and what they're doing. But you also need to understand if a call comes in and I'm on the -30 and we're down by 2 scores, I've got to understand why that play is being called,
Right.
why that formation is being run. Right? I got to
Right.
understand it because when the ball snaps, I am going to have options available to me, and things aren't always going to go right. But I got to make decisions in the context of why that play call came in. Got me?
Yep.
And that same play call, if I'm at the +30 and we're up by 2 scores, all right, now, right, it's a little bit different deal, right? I've got different factors to consider. Yeah, I want the extra score, but I don't want to take points off the board, like that type of thing. So,
Right.
so it's the great offenses and the great quarterbacks and offensive units really kind of understand whether the coach is doing it through calls and they understand it, or whether somebody at the controls that understands, hey, this part of the game we need to settle down. 3 yards here is great. That's a win. I don't need. Yeah, there's an alert over there, but I'm gonna pass it up this time, right? And I'm gonna go here, because that's going to give me 5 and we're going to move the chains. Because if I go the alert and I miss, then all of a sudden I'm 3rd and long and we're in bad field position, like those types of things. So
Right.
it is important, Jay. It's extremely important.
I'm sorry. I got totally lost there for a second. We're going to go to a break right now. And when we come back, we're going to find out what Barry's cooking, what Barry's eating, what Barry is prepared to not send to us because he is stingy and doesn't want to share his food with any of us. Up next on Old School.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking here in Louisville. We are really hitting on all cylinders right now, and deals are off the charts. We've got a lot more new 2022 and 2023 Chevrolet and GMC inventory than we've had in a long time. So make sure you check us out online, or do even better, stop on in the store and let us show you one in person. Our pre-owned lot is plumb full, so take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock, or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at nebraskaautodetail.com.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
A good game with good friends. But isn't it time to up the score when it comes to the food? Wings and Rings is here for every football fan. Catch the game on one of their big screens or snag a tailgate pack to go. They're cranking up the heat and throwing in mad flavor this season. Stop by your locally owned Wings and Rings on O Street, Meridian Park, or 48th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village, or grab some crave-worthy Wings and Rings to go. Make them your go-to destination to watch your team bring home the win. Wings and Rings. Game time just got better.
Need to send a message? Send it with cake. Congratulations. Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you? Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance to make your project go smooth. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online at deckcityne.com.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
It's time again for Lincoln's Best Oktoberfest, the 7th annual Piedmont Oktoberfest, October 8th from 5 to 11 p.m. Enjoy dozens of beers, amazing local food, live music, costume contests, stein holding contests, yodeling, and more, with tickets starting at only $33. Live music by the B Street Band, provided by Aloe Fiber, and safe rides home, provided by Z-Trip and the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office. Get your tickets today at the shops at Piedmont.com. Use promo code The Ticket to receive 10% off your complete order. It's the Piedmont Oktoberfest. The shops at Piedmont.com.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment of Old School here. We get to kind of tap into the cooking mind of one Barry Thompson and see exactly what the mind of Barry Thompson is cooking or deciding to snack on. And before we get into that, actually, Barry, we have a texter on the text line who says Barry's Peruvian chicken recipe was the bomb. So you're influencing the people of Lincoln.
Yeah, I love. I'll drop some ingredients on you guys too. Really love. And this time of year, it gets a little cool. We had a week where it got a little cool, so you start thinking about the the stews and the comfort food. So I went with a classic, which is chili. Now, when it comes to chili, a lot of different things. I'm a Texas chili guy, which means no beans, and my wife kind of grew up. She has beans in her chili, so I found a recipe for a ground beef chili, which usually always has beans, but it gave me the Texas chili flavor. And just kind of two little tricks here I'll share with the listeners. One was this little solution of baking soda, water, and salt. And the baking soda is something that helps things hold moisture and brown quicker. So 2.5 pounds of ground chuck, and you want ground chuck or 80-20, 85. You need a little fat in the beef. You don't want lean stuff. So I had ground chuck and just wrapped it in that, work that solution into it. And then another little trick was when you cook chili, you think about your recipes. A lot of times it's just like a tablespoon of chili powder or this and that. Well, in this one, the chili powder is the star. So if there's a tienda around there, you can easily find it. I found we use 6 dried, what they call ancho chilies. And dried chilies have a whole different flavor profile than chilies in general. So these are 6 ancho chilies. They're dried. You get the seeds out of them. You kind of toast them a little bit on a pot. Don't let it smoke, but just toast them, get them warm. You throw those into a food processor or blender, and then you put all the normal kind of seasonings in, your oregano, your cumin, your garlic powder, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of paprika, whatever your blend is. But that all gets blended up, and you're this big kind of chili powder that's homemade and really, really fresh and really delicious. Meat goes in the pot, with onions and stuff. You brown it for 10 or 15 minutes. That gets, when that gets done, you throw that chili powder in. Then 1 can of kidney beans with the liquid. They'll help thicken it a little bit. And then a can of whole peeled tomatoes. You should puree them before you put them in. And I think that's it. And then you put a lid on it, and you get the oven. You would preheat your oven to 275. This actually finishes for 2 hours in the oven. So it's kind of, most time when you make ground chili, it's like a half hour, throw the seasoning packet in, and you eat it, right? This, with a little more love, turns into something completely different. And really enjoyed it. And I've got a couple posts. We had the chili itself. Then we, I think the next day, I had like a brunch. I put the chili, put an egg on top of it with some bacon, and then we made some chili dogs. And we still have a little bit left over. But really recommend finding a recipe, making your own ground chili powder, and adding that. You'll have a whole different experience with your chili.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm gonna make some chili, man. Always make me hungry when I listen to this.
I know, right? It'd be great for tomorrow. It's supposed to be real cold.
Yeah, and then I never make it, but it's fine. Thank you so much, Barry, for all of the knowledge you dropped on us.
All right, well, thanks for having me, and let's go Big Red.
Hey, thank
you.
Go Big Red. Go Big Red. They're out in Barry's neck of the woods. Have a good one, Barry.
All right, bye-bye.
out on the East Coast, Barry's neck of the woods, taking on Rutgers tomorrow. But tonight, 7 o'clock, Jay Foreman, Nick Sainert will be on the call for Lincoln High and Lincoln East football. One Iowa State commit, Benny Ngoyi, going up against the number 1 recruit in the state of Nebraska, Malachi Coleman, for Lincoln East. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it should be competitive. Hopefully a competitive game.
So listen to that at 7 o'clock. Jay Foreman, Nick Sainert on the call right here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Any parting words for the folks, Jay?
Oh, no, man. We're about to turn up here in an hour, so I got to make it over to the stadium, get ready to go with Nick.
All right, sir. Well, you can get out of here, and we'll be listening to you and Nick call a fantastic game between the Spartans and the Lynx. Thank you all for listening today. All of the shows on 93.7 The Ticket FM. But don't go anywhere. Just in 1 hour, you can hear some beautiful high school football. Lincoln East, Lincoln High, Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman on the call. You guys have a great day. Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect